If I tell you that you can make 30 to 50,000 rupees from a property and you don't even have to own them, you probably would say that I'm telling you a scam, like these people do. Well, it is possible. I did so. I was making 1 to 2 lakhs per month from the properties that I did not even buy upfront by just managing them. How was I able to do so? Via rental arbitrage. And honestly, it was working wonders till it wasn't. Today, in this video, I am sharing my whole experience of doing rental arbitrage. What is it? How did I get started? Why did I let go of some of my properties? And should you even consider doing it if you are interested in this idea? So, if you are someone who's interested in building income stream from property but don't really want to buy it upfront, this is the video for you. I will tell you the entire picture, discuss all the pros and cons of doing Airbnb, of taking property on lease, whether you should buy it or not, what are the risks associated, entire thing in this video. So do watch it till the end. And if you find it useful, do like this video because it tells me that you appreciate honesty and all the efforts that I put in, and it encourages me to make more such videos. So let's get started. Now, before anything else, what is rental arbitrage? Here's a rundown. You go and find a landlord who's leasing their apartment or their house or their townhome or whatever property piece that they own, and you say to them, "Hey landlord, I would like to lease this from you, and then I would like to put this back on Airbnb and run a small business out of your unit." You get the stability of 12, 24 or 36 months tenant, and then I get to make a little bit of money too. So you go and sign the lease, you go and furnish the apartment, and then you list it on Airbnb. You pay the landlord their monthly regular rent, you manage all the expenses, and whatever is left is your profit at the end of the day. In my case, I had a few units that I was managing on rental arbitrage in Goa. I'd pay monthly rent, furnish the place, handle the guests, do cleanups, and manage everything. Sounds doable, right? Well, it definitely is, but at the same time, I would say it is definitely more than what these Airbnb gurus on Instagram tell you. Let's understand this better with an example. Let's say you rent a 2 BHK apartment in Goa or in Bangalore for around 40,000. If it's an unfurnished place, maybe you would spend 1 to 1.5 lakhs to furnish it. Add utilities, Wi-Fi, maintenance costs, etc. That will be another 10 to 15k monthly that you would be spending. So your monthly cost would come out to be approximately 55,000 on an upper end. Now, this is not a fixed number. There are many variables to this aspect as well, but it is definitely a good reference point that we can consider to understand things better. Now, to break even, you would need to definitely make 55,000 rupees from the property every month. But breaking even is not our goal. Ideally, we would do a business to make profit from it, right? So to make a good profit, you would need to hit a number of 90k or 1.2 lakhs to get good money in hand. Now, this sounds great on paper. If you can get consistent bookings and are able to manage your reviews well, you can end up with 30 to 60k in profit from one unit itself. Multiply by 10 units, say you have 10 units, just do the math. 3 lakhs from just running properties and you do not even have to buy it. Hold on. This whole thing sounds really attractive. But hold on. Let's move past the dream. Let me tell you what actually happens on ground, what I learned, how was my experience. Now, on paper, rental arbitrage seems like a real hack. And to be very honest, it does work quite well until reality strikes and that shakes you up. Now, I had been running a few arbitrage units in South Goa. A few I was managing solely by myself, a few I was co-hosting with someone else. I was taking all the risks, managing all the communication, doing everything on ground. And frankly speaking, I was earning quite decently overall. But at the same time, there were a few hassles that kept on coming in that made me feel it like an additional burden and was starting to eat into my mental bandwidth. I noticed that the market was changing, the regulations were tightening, the guest patterns were changing, business demands was changing, and it was also kind of not aligning with my personal goals in the long term. However, I was still enjoying it. I was doing everything that I could. But at the same time, during the whole managing experience, I also learned about the risks that people don't really tell about when they talk about this business. First is, when you're doing rental arbitrage, you don't own the property. That is, you don't really have any assets in your name. That means you don't get to enjoy the benefits of long-term compounding of an asset appreciation, which is key if you are looking to build wealth. Yeah, you might be making 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakhs from a unit, but at the end of the day, you're still just a tenant. And when your lease ends, your business ends. That is the cold, hard, brutal truth. Doing rental arbitrage means that you're leasing property from someone, and landlords can change their mind. And even if they don't, well, they still can. Your lease is your lifeline. And once it ends or the landlord changes their mind, your business is over. I kid you not, I knew this one host in my network who was doing 5 rental arbitrage units in Pune, and he was making like really good money. The property was appreciated, the reviews were spectacular, people were asking about it again and again. But when 3 landlords changed their mind within few months, he was left with 5 lakh worth of furniture and did not really have any other place to go. And the reason that he got? Well, they just needed it back. Thirdly, all the wear and tear and the backup option in everything is who? You. Running Airbnbs is not a passive source of income. It is active work. If a guest demands anything in the middle of the night, if a tap starts leaking, or if the AC is not working, who is going to be called upon to solve all these issues? You. And the thing is, these guests that you would be hosting at your place, they're not going to treat your place as you would. There would be breakages, spoiled sheets, dirty laundries, dirty plates, and what not. If you decided to use budget furniture to save costs initially, you might end up replacing it more often than you would think. And before you realize the cost that you're actually putting in to solve everything, when you sit down at the end of the day to do all the calculations, you might see that your margins are getting hit way harder than you might have projected. Fourth is city-specific challenges. Well, this factor is usually out of your control and may not be only applicable to rental arbitrage. This majorly deals with the market scenario, how the tourist footfall or how the short-term demand is in a city. For instance, Goa has seasonal market, Bengaluru might have apartment society issues, Mumbai has its own licensing drama. One rule, one small deviation from your projection can put the entire model at risk. And lastly, in rental arbitrage specifically, scalability can be a bit tricky. When you're taking such a huge leverage of renting out places, you can't really grow that fast without spreading yourself too thin. And if you're planning to do 5, 10, 20 or 30 arbitrage units, your team has to be really strong. That will be your foundation here. Without it, it is definitely going to be chaotic and it can't really translate into your primary source of income. I know a lot of hosts who were able to scale to more than 100 arbitrage units. If you're interested to know more about their story, let me know in the comments below and maybe I can get them on board and we can know all about how were they able to grow it. But for me personally, after one point, the mental load wasn't worth the income. So yes, I did give up a few units, not because it wasn't working, but because I had other things in mind. I had other goals to achieve in my mind. I wanted to build something which is more aligned to my vision, which gave me more of what I desired in my life. Now, after all this, you might say, she's so double-minded. First, she claims that you can make so much money from rental arbitrage, and now she's talking all against it. See guys, I'm not saying rental arbitrage is a failure. Like I said before also, it does work if you know how to make it work. And to be very honest, it can be a great way to start, especially if you're looking to enter the Airbnb business, or you don't have enough funds to buy a property outrightly, or you want to understand the market and the business without parking in much money at the start, or you want to test your operational skills, or you're comfortable with high involvement. And most importantly, if you're willing to navigate the risk and optimize your strategies whenever opportunity presents itself. I know people who started with just one arbitrage unit, made 3-5 lakhs in a year, and then used that money to invest in land or get into glamping. Now, that is what I think is smart. Using arbitrage money to build something bigger and eventually have that ownership that I had been talking about, which is very frankly speaking really crucial if you are looking to invest smartly. So after this long discussion of showing you the other side of rental arbitrage, I hope you are now well aware of the whole picture. So what do I suggest to do if you want to get into the rental arbitrage game, or how I would approach it if I were to start afresh and make it big? Well, firstly, I would start with one arbitrage unit or maximum two. Then I would use the time spent and experience to learn operations, guest handling, automation, anything that comes along with running the business. Then I would save the profits and not spend it mindlessly or get overtly excited about making money. Instead, I would have a long-term vision. Maybe reinvest into maybe buying a small plot, a tiny home, or whatever property that suits me or you and can give more returns with the ownership element. Also, to deal with the ups and downs of the arbitrage, I wouldn't want to limit myself. The strategy would be to diversify into mid-term rentals if short-term rental rules are getting tighter. And most importantly, I would focus on building a brand, not just running a listing, especially when I'm doing it as my primary source of income. Because a listing can get taken down, a brand, which is something you own, stays with you. Look, rental arbitrage isn't a scam. However, it definitely is not a get-rich-quick scheme that some people claim it to be. That I work for just 4 hours a week and I'm able to make so much money. It's a business model with clear pros and cons. It gave me a start, taught me a lot, made me money, but personally, it wasn't my vehicle to wealth or even my peace of mind. The thing that you must remember to analyze the whole thing better and then take a decision is that cash flow can make you feel rich, but at the end of the day, equity helps you stay rich. This is valid for any investment. So if you are doing or planning to do rental arbitrage, do it with a purpose. Know why you are starting it. Know when or how should you stop it. My experience here would definitely say not to build your whole empire on borrowed land. But that is my perspective. If you found this video to be useful, if you like the insights, do give this video a like and comment below. Let me know if you're planning to start rental arbitrage. And if you want me to make a full video on how to start and set up your first rental arbitrage unit in India, in Dubai, or in any other geography, I have a lot of clients in other geographies as well. Let me know in the comments below. I would love to make videos on that, and I'll see you on the next one.